We're back here with another video. I got sent this a couple days ago. I haven't wait, hold on, I gotta fix one thing first. Fix one little thing first. So I just got sent this about a couple days ago. I haven't seen Death Battle in forever. And for those who don't know, just so you're in the know-how, for those who don't know, Gurren Lagann is one of my favorite anime of all time. I'm actually wearing the shirt right now. That's how much I love it. I'm wearing a Gurren Lagann shirt. I have the glasses, but I can't find where they are at the moment. I have like the actual Gurren Lagann glasses. I do not know where they are at the moment, but that's how much big of a fan I am. So when I saw this, I was like, yo. Like, this can't be real. And first of all, why would you put him against the Green Lantern? Now, it may sound biased, because I'm a fan of the series, but based on who Gurren Lagann is, especially if they include the movie, which they better include the movie, he's unbeatable. Just saying. And if he doesn't win this battle, we're going to have a problem. He is literally unbeatable. He fought and caused the Big Bang to happen. He literally fought on an interdimensional, infinite, multi-dimensional labyrinth, which makes no sense, but has been done. Just so we know. So this is interesting, and I know, and I haven't watched it since Death Battle with Rooster's Teeth and Screw Attack and stuff. I remember hearing like earlier this year they got disbanded, and then they got bought out, and then the originals order got a hold of it again. So this is a whole thing. So Gurren Lagann should beat White Lantern. Like, the only biggest feat I could think of that the Green Lantern, and I read comic books too, so I'm a Green Lantern fan too. I remember like Blackest Night, Brightest Day with the white, when Cal Rayner became the White Lantern. The only thing I remember that was big was he became like one with the Source Wall, which was kind of a big deal. But other than that, I don't really remember anything else about that. And if I remember correctly, when he became one with the Source Wall, it was one of those situations where he was like, he did it, but he couldn't control the power, which you can argue that might play a role with him losing too. But I'm automatically assuming he's going to lose. I'm already calling it now. Now, other things that's going to happen after this, because this is going to be later streams. So one is going to be this stream. Afterwards, I'm probably going to play Monster Hunter, because Akuma came out, and I'm going to show off the Akuma stuff. And then after, I may do one more stream after that when we have enough time. So I'm going to start a stream. Then after this stream, I'm going to stop the stream. And now I'm going to go into another stream. Because YouTube is kind of weird about you switching topics and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Just so you know. So we can learn some Akuma stuff. So you can see the Monster Akuma stuff. And all this other stuff that's going on right now. So, little bit of things to see. So, like we're watching, please like and subscribe. Let's get right into it though. Where's my headset? Oh.
Simone the Digger.
There we go.
Rayner, the White Lantern. Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
Where's an iron boomstick?
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
So, according to that picture, it looks like they're going to be all cartoony. It would have been cool to see him sort of CG though.
Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his companions
my boy Viral.
claim the Earth for humanity. scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina
And when they fuse together to make Gurren Lagann.
brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann.
With Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the anime,
It's the
across
peak.
history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest.
Yep.
Fueled by its pilot
The coolest and the strongest, just so you know, too.
any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack.
Don't forget Giga Drill. Giga. Don't forget the Giga Drill Breaker.
Drills, shield drills, Kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku. Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills.
Oh, the video's kind of quiet? I got you. I'll pump it up.
My whole personality. What up?
With Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy
Let me know
forces,
if you need it
liberated
louder. I'll
human
make it
villages,
louder.
And fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King.
There we go, my
Lord
bad.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit.
Thank you for letting me know,
Was that supposed
JT.
to happen?
Nope, and it was all
it's
Simone's
too loud,
fault.
let me know.
He let his willpower waver,
Now
and
it's
his
too
soul
loud? I
brother
think-
paid
oh,
the
okay,
price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in
Okay, I think that's there,
guided
right?
solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So,
Good now. Okay, cool. We're good. We're good. My
with
bad.
These final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in
Believes in
you.
Yeah, give him the
Kamina was
comment.
the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagann, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity
Gurren
to
Lagann's gonna win, and
victory.
so if he doesn't win this
Especially with his
video,
gal
all I got.
pal at his side.
Listen, all I gotta say, if he doesn't win, this whole video is invalid, and not because I'm a diehard fan, just because based on the feats they done. Like I said, the biggest thing I can only think of the White Lanterns done was raise the heroes from the dead, which is pretty epic. And the only other thing was him becoming with the Source Wall, which the Source Wall is pretty epic. But if I remember correctly, he couldn't control it properly,
Pull him out of his
which
rut
which
and
makes
kick
him, make him
Lord
diminish his
General's
power.
ass.
And in this case, Gurren Lagann kept his power. And they better talk about Super Tingle Top of Gurren Lagann,
Unimaginably
which is the
powerful
peak of
godlike
Gurren Lagann.
aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever
There you
into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simon would use
There you
as
go,
he led
fixed it.
Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets
Season
you
2, basically.
constantly
This show only
adapt
has
to
like
threats,
27
no
episodes, just so
matter
you know.
how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy
They're not
attacks,
about complete
and even
scaling?
merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough
If
to
they're not-
shatter
if they're-
space
oh, no,
and
don't tell-
time
JT, don't
with
tell
a
me that.
punch.
Or the super galaxy.
Because I know they
Gurren
use a lot of
Lagann,
math,
which
though,
can
but
fire
based on
lasers
the
that are
math,
fast
what
enough to
they
hit,
do,
and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
there we go.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes.
Thank you.
Literally
Infinite
cannot
universe.
calculate how fast
A
that is.
multi-dimensional infinite labyrinth. They better say it.
Greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth.
Thank
An
you.
attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced
Better
to
say it.
experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different. And after being in
Listen, that was one of my. There was two things I always dreamed about having when I was either Gurren Lagann and me in the game. If you can make Gurren Lagann happen, that'll be awesome.
inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
Several
The jump between
orders of
dimensions
infinity.
is basically
Kyle
infinite.
Ray doesn't come
Each
close
new
to that.
dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh,
we're just
Simone,
getting
yeah.
started. Imagine a
The funny thing is, this is one of the few names I actually get right. And the show, you know, I always pronounce names wrong. It's one of the few times I actually get it right,
because
which is
when
hilarious.
Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon, who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
You see how crazy that sounds? Absorbing infinite amount of time
This all
is
gave
still
our
infinity.
Simone enough
So it's
spiral
infinite
power
within
to form
infinite,
the
which
next
sounds
step in mecha
crazy.
evolution. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually
Exactly.
fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probabilities so they have 100% chance of hitting.
And this is, and the funny thing, this is just the regular one. We're not even talking about Super Tingle Top of Gearlon, which was standing on top of the universe
Simon's
itself.
power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our
Look,
own
my boy Lord
universe.
Genome right
With
there.
it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Yep.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome.
Basically
in
binary in that
reality.
case.
Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, Wiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the
Right?
spiral.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny about this show? We're talking about, it's funny you said the manga thing. That's cool. This is one of the few shows that it was only anime for, not a manga. Now I don't know if they made a manga later on, but the show came out first before there was even anything written about it. So that's one of the cool. That's a little cool thing of note about the show.
Simon evolved one more time.
Only 20, what,
Into
5 or 26 episodes. That's it, and 2 movies.
Toppa Gurren
Thank
Lagann.
you. And this is from the movie. Super Tingle Top of Gurren Lagann is from the movie version. The movie version of the show is basically the whole show redone over with all the fan service. This is being one of the scenarios. The first movie is all of season 1, back basically when he was a kid. And the second one is all of season 2 when he grew up, leading to this transformation. Let them cook.
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with
Thank
its
you.
wheels somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for
Thank
all.
you.
Cruel indifference of the universe. Meet the indomitable human spirit.
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
Say the line.
No more
Yep.
worlds left to
I really wish I
conquer.
could find my
Simon
glasses
chose
right
to
now.
wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of
Yeah,
world.
yeah. So Gurren Lagann, that's a good point, JT. Gurren Lagann was originally made by Team Gynex, and Kill la Kill is actually one of my other favorite shows. By the way, don't lose your way. For those who know what that means from Kill la Kill, hit me up. Anyway, originally made by Team Gynex. Team Gynex, and they worked on shows like that, Panty Stocking, Gunbuster, and among other shows, and also Fully Cooley too. They worked on Fully Cooley too. So Team Gynex had like the original lineup of some of the most over top anime. They were like the Madhouse before Madhouse became out. Like they were in that category of animation. And then after Gynex disappeared, people who helped make Gurren Lagann stuff, and this is what JT is saying, they all branched out to make Studio Trigger. So a little bit of a little history for y'all.
Cousins that can
That led to
free.
making Kill la Kill
Thanks
and among other
to a
shows.
humble digger.
Now Kyle Rayner.
The universe is a dangerous
I know the
place.
biggest feat they're going to
Should
bring
you
up is
find
either
yourself
reviving
face to
people or the
face with
source.
an interdimensional
Just, I'm
vampire,
saying it now.
alien
That's how much
defenders,
knowledge
or
I have
some
of this.
Really pissed off cat. You know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite,
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him.
Oh, the
but
Ben
you
10
gotta
one.
respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated.
Oh yeah, there was a Die Buster. There was actually a Gunbuster too, which was Die Buster, which is weird because Die Buster was like completely different than the other one. Like, one was like the girls driving the mechs, which was the thing, and then there's the one where the girl like fused with the mechs because she was like an android. And in that show, spoiler, she cuts the freaking sun in half. Let's talk about that. She has like this the gunbuster beam. Y'all know who I forget. It's been years since I've seen, but there's a scene in there where she cuts the physical sun in half, which is freaking crazy.
Lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery.
Oh, Parallax?
Literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
Yeah, Parallax.
There
There
was
we go.
only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient fox can master
Daffy
it,
Duck
what's
from
your excuse, Kyle?
The
Doc
Green Lantern
Dodgers.
ring can do anything, fulfilling any
In
wish
the
its user
dark
desires as though it were a genie from a
divine.
lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields,
will the
affect
universe
gravity, turn invisible and
survive?
intangible, manipulate matter, time travel,
That was
warp
such a good
reality,
theme
and
song.
erase
Made by
things from existence.
the guy who
Think
said
we're
it's not music. I
exaggerating?
can't
Well,
think of his name.
consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space,
Which is what the
requiring
Flash
speeds
has.
that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast.
And then the other
automatically
thing is the
protecting
battery
its
wins
user
out,
from
which is
danger.
an easy
the
win
time
for them
that
too.
Boozer Kilowog
Gurren Lagann
survived
has an
being
infinite
erased
amount
from
of
existence
amount of
by the
energy and an
crisis on
infinite way of
Infinite Earth.
increasing
The
that
ring is
energy
fueled by
and an
its user's
infinite way
willpower
of
and
trying to
limited
adapt,
only
which
by
the
their
Green Lanterns don't have.
imagination.
While Hal may have
Even
had
with
the
all the
greatest
willpower they
willpower in the core, Kyle's imagination is unmatched. Probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before
And
needing
that's
recharge.
the issue right
So
there
it can
too.
blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps
Great
a
power, no
manifestation of
response. That's
Kyle's
funny.
self-doubt.
That's a good
Any
line.
reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against
True. That
He
might
proved
play a
the Green
role
Lantern
in
Corps
Kyle
better
Renner's
than
lane, but
ever.
I'm still
Little
holding my
did he
guns
know,
to
this
Gurren
torchbearer's
Lagann.
greatest journey had only
But they
just
better talk about
begun.
the
In order
source
to
wall
save
thing, because he
Candace
messed up
from
during the
an
source wall, and
emotional
there's times he couldn't
lobotomy
control his
principle
power,
story.
which
He had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
made the white
There are
Lantern.
7 colors, each representing
Hope,
a different emotion. The yellow
hate,
light
which
of
shoots the
fear
blood lasers
lets
out now.
Kyle manipulate
Fear,
the worst horrors in your mind. The more
hatred,
scared you are of
greed,
him,
which is the orange
stronger he
one,
becomes.
which is a
Orange
funny
light is fueled
oath.
by
There's only one
bottomless
Lantern in Green Lantern,
avarice,
and Lex
possessing
Luthor.
Kyle to absorb not merely his enemy's attacks, but also
Oh,
their
they're saying.
soul.
I'm just now
Red
seeing on the
is
screen.
rage.
Ah, there's the one, the
Kyle's
blood
heart
one.
and replacing his blood with napalm.
There's
Which
the one.
Sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight.
And the Hope
letting
one's
him
probably
open
my
portals
second favorite
across
one, because
space,
Flash is my
connecting
other
him to
favorite
others.
The
superhero.
final one was the
And
sapphire
me
light
seeing
of
Blue
love,
Lantern
which
Flash in the
he can
comic books
trap
was
enemies
one of the
within
coolest
crystal
designs ever.
matrices and control
Blue
their
and white
minds.
streaks, almost like he's
Kyle only
Quicksilver, but
mastered
he's
it
not.
after giving
Gotta
himself
love it.
for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love.
Oh, Johnny
I get
Brown,
it.
when the last one
Must
was there?
be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Yep,
Okay,
I recognize that
it's not
picture.
Totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and
Here we go!
the life equation.
Say he messed up though.
Source code to reality.
The source
life
wall,
equation is mathematical proof that life
which is the life equation.
living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a
Okay.
whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart,
There we
the
go.
anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
Okay.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxiety.
There we go, and that's the part that's going to screw him
Kyle's
over.
greatest weakness was still
Himself.
Kyle spent
Thank
his
you.
whole life struggling
I'm
with
glad
the
they're
power
saying
that
all
the
this. I thought they were
gods
going to do me
granted him.
wrong. Okay.
And throughout it all, he
That's going to be,
always rose
I
the
think that's going to be,
occasion,
even though there's the
carrying
12th dimension,
universe
I think
on
it's going to be his
his
But
downfall.
ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with
That's
the power
crazy.
of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Okay, the fight, here we
Hey,
go.
Remember Beerus versus
I
David
still got my money on
Gurren
Gurren Lagann.
No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website.
They got a
That's
website now?
www.deathbattle.gg.
Yo, Death Battle came a
It's
long
like
way, I
our
give them
own
credit.
private
Even though they
Patreon
got some
with a store for
questionable
Death Battle
choices in
merch
certain
and a
things,
complete Death
I
Battle
definitely
video
gotta give credit
archive.
where it's due.
It's
Like,
got
it's,
episodes that
they've been
YouTube
going on
has banned,
for years. I remember when
blocked,
watching them when I was
and censored,
younger.
and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg live right now.
Here we go, guys.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
Oh, that's from the game, Super Robot Tyson Z. That's cool. They showed that. Here we go. The glasses. I wish they went with a 3D art style with this one.
I'm not rusty at all.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Is that Balrog? That's funny. That's cute.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it.
I love how they're both acting the way they're supposed to. That's Tiger Woods. He gives good.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
He said it! Those are the glasses I got right there. The ones right there. Oh, he went straight to the main one. But he didn't do super tingle top of it. Oh, White Lantern. Oh, this fight is sick.
I'm a lantern.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Oh, they're sick.
The unbreakable.
Here we go.
You ain't know?
You better go super tingle top. We're gonna have an issue. You don't. Multi-dimensional. Oh, the greatest mom in the universe swing. I'm wife. Sorry, great.
I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll...
Is that the source wall? That's the freaking source wall. Yo, this is about to get crazy. Oh, the White Lantern.
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Here we go.
Have faith in the Simone.
The one that believes in me, that believes in you. Here we go! We're getting it! Let's go! I feel like a freaking little kid right now. Why she said breaker, but I'll let that. What Hal gonna do though? He made a drill of the core. Oh, that's actually kind of sick. Yo. Who wins though? Don't tell me it's gonna be some time. Gurren Lagann has to win.
The super weapon wasn't your mech. It was me. Then, Simone, I'm taking
Like in the
you
movie. That's cool.
in brightest day, in blackest night.
Oh no, he said no evil shall escape my
my
sight.
sight. Let those who worship evil's might
Beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Green Lantern fly!
Yo! Let's go! Let's go! I called it! I freaking called it!
Make a good lantern.
Simone of Earth, you have been chosen.
That's cute. Oh, with the ending thing? That's cute. Okay, why did he lose?
The guy with the snazzy sunglasses.
Let me see what I was right. I said the source wall and his the fight against himself.
It's hard to judge them by our normal standards.
Okay.
Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Fair.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in
crazy.
general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal,
True.
which was mostly drills. Though
Yep.
again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
Here we go.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but
Okay.
we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed
Thank you.
contained 11 spatial dimensions.
Which,
That's
yeah,
1.3
that's the number thing I was
dimensions
talking
less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level.
Okay.
However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger.
Right,
So
Kyle
just
can
because
do that.
Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
Which is what I talked about.
Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in and strength like Simone has.
Thank you.
While Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it.
Thank you, and that's why I brought up.
Detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story.
Called
no matter
it.
how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's.
Thank
Isn't
you.
that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway?
But you're right, Infinity
That's
is so
Gurren
infinite.
Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Let's go.
Next time on Death Battle.
Roadrunner versus Looney Tunes versus Tom and Jerry? Wally Coyote and Roadrunner versus Tom and Jerry?
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
That's crazy. So we'll stop right there. Final thoughts. I think it was a really cool battle. There was definitely a lot of references that were thrown in that I loved about this. I know some people might say I'm being biased and stuff. I get it. But like the infinite thing, that's one thing. But like I said, one of the biggest issues with the battery running out. I said one of those factors is going to be a thing. Now the Tom and Jerry versus Wile E. Coyote one, I don't know how to call that because cartoon logic is a whole different can of worms. Like I don't really know how to even interpret that. Like cartoon violence, like once you start getting the version like Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, like Popeye, like you saw the Popeye versus Saitama fight. That's one of the few fights. I think it's the last fight I saw. When you see stuff like that, you're in a whole different ballgame of like imagination. Like it's crazy to even think about. But it was cool seeing Gurren Lagann being put in this light of things. It was really cool, and it's fun and like seeing it because one thing. Oh look, this guy saying I'm sleeping on Gurren Lagann. Thank you, you are sleeping on Gurren Lagann. But it's one of those things where it's like, man, you either know or you know. Like Scooby-Doo versus Courage. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I didn't even know there was. Like I said, this is the first time I've seen Death Battle. I think since the Popeye versus One Punch Man once. I haven't seen it in a long time. I might do more. Y'all let me know in the comment section if you want me to do more reviews of this, like when the video goes shut down. Oh, and keep you up to speed what's about to happen. So I'm about to, because YouTube is kind of weird. I can't just switch. I could just switch games, but I want to make sure they're all separate videos. So I'm going to stop this stream real quick in a little bit. But when I'm going to stop the stream, I'm going to do what's it? I'm going to do gameplay for the Akuma DLC just came out. So for those who don't know who doesn't play Monster Hunter Wilds, and I'll give you some little backstory. So about 2 games ago, so we'll say before Rise and on World did an update where Ryu was in the game, right? And Ryu was really cool. You got to play as Ryu as a character, armor overlay, and he had Dokens and Shoryuken. But it was just kind of like a gimmicky thing. You just use your gestures, you do 1 damage, and that was it. But then later, and it was and then during the fight, you got to hear the Street Fighter music play in the background. Cool. And usually the collaboration stuff is really cool. Now, the next game, which was Rise, which is I'm kind of always been like this about Rise. I have a love-hate relationship with Rise. And just so you know, I play almost every Monster Hunter game that's ever been out, even before everyone started jumping on the bandwagon. Like I played Free Me Night. You want to see a hard Monster Hunter game? Play that mess. But anyway, when Rise came out, they did the Akuma DLC, and y'all know Akuma's one of my favorite characters. I played him a little bit when I was at Evo, when I went to Evo last year, and we did really good between him and E Honda. E Honda was my winning bread and butter, but For those who remember the craziness with Evil. Hopefully I can go to Evil again sometime. It's going to be a while before that because that cost a lot of money for me to do. And I'm glad y'all supported me doing it. But anyway, so when Rise came out, Akuma was in the game. And in this game, when they did Rise, what they did was they put him behind Sword and Shield. So you use Sword and Shield and you put the Akuma skin on. But when you did that, he has the exact same move, sort of. But you can see his fist and you don't see his Sword and Shield in his hand. And some of the moves Sword and Shield has are related to Street Fighter, like Shorigeki, which is basically the Shoryuken with the shield. It's like the same equivalent. And then his Silk Bind move, which is a move that involves a little bug and stuff, he gets a Tatsumaki and a Shoryuken and stuff like that. And that's how they did that game. Now, Monster Hunter World, it's basically its own weapon. And I'll get into it and I'll show you some cool stuff you can do with the character. I'll do the mission for it. I already beat the whole thing. I did earlier when I woke up this morning because I got super excited to do it. So, and you'll get to see a little bit of that stuff. So, thank you for watching. You said Scooby-Doo encouraged with a tie. Oh, dang, I got spoiled that. But that's kind of cool. Speaking of Scooby-Doo encouraged, before we jump on, last thing I want to say, if y'all haven't seen, there's technically an additional final episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think, because I'm a huge Courage fan too, a lot of people think the episode with him and saving his parents that they got sent to space and the reason why he became an orphan was the original final episode, which is technically is, in the lore it is. There was a Scooby-Doo / Courage the Cowardly Dog movie, which I've kind of stopped being, like, I love Scooby-Doo when I was a kid, but later on I'm kind of like, about Scooby-Doo. I think, me personally, a pup named Scooby-Doo was a better show, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, the movie between those two was good. Unfortunately, when that came out, the guy who played Eustace actually passed away, so that was kind of sad there. But the cool thing that what is good about the movie, and this is probably the best part of the movie I liked, is the fact they actually explain why Courage and know where all the bad things that happen. They actually explain it, which is something that was never explained in this series, like why all the bad stuff is happening. And that movie is, in a sense, the definitive ending. Like, this is why Courage got put in these situations. This is why Cats was the way he was, all this stuff. You get to see all that. And there's a lot of references, a lot of freaking Easter eggs. I definitely recommend you watch it. But guys, stay tuned. Give me about like less than a couple minutes, and I'm going to restart the stream and get to see some monsters and Akuma action. So, see you soon. Like and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in. Be back in a few.